talk before my talk. But you know, this month of is really about each one of us. It's very personal. And it has to do with figuring out how to open up the inner riches that we each carry. Every one of us carries this tremendous, dynamic inner riches of love, harmony, and abundance. And so this month, I think, is about a personal idea of how we can personally do that. And so what came to me was the 10 most important words in the English language. If it is to be, it's up to me. Let's say that. If it is to be, it's up to me. So that's my talk before the talk. We're blessed to be here ushering in the empowering theme for April, which is renewal and transformation. We don't have to look too far, do we, to see the universe providing us just that idea of renewal and transformation. There's a power in the universe that's so incredibly awesome. And it's a force in nature that actually can transform the landscape of the fall and winter into this beautiful springtime where we see the glory and the beauty of renewal and transformation. And it's pretty awesome. And we can learn a lot from that. We can learn from nature. Ralph Waldo Emerson at one time told us that all we have to do is look clearly and deeply into nature. And it will teach us the universal principles that will enhance our life. So that's what this month is all about. Several years ago, Stella and I, can you hear me? I think if I turn this thing on, it vibrates. And I think it's because it's too loud over there. I want to try it before I start. Can you hear me? Good. Now there it is. How's that?
No.
Too loud.
Now I'll go ahead and use the...
It's too loud.
It's too loud.
Can you turn it down for us? And we'll try it one more time in a moment here. Several years ago, Stella and I, we had just built our house, and so we were going to pave the driveway. We had some funds came through, and we were going to do it. So we did. We paved the driveway. And then a few days later, I was walking. Of course, my ego kicked in, and I thought, oh, wow, what a magnificent... It's neat to have a paved driveway, you know, it's really cool. And then I walked along, and there I saw on the right side, along the bubbling up of the asphalt. The pavement was bubbling up a bit, and so I walked further and I let it go. The next few days I kept eyeing that and kept looking at this, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. I thought, my God, what's going on here? And then eventually it broke. The top of the bubble broke open, and out came what? This beautiful little leaf. It was as if the leaf said, aha, here I am. And nothing, not even 4 inches of concrete or asphalt, I said it right, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Can prevent me from shining, from showing the magnificence that I am. That's the power of the nature that we have. And what does this show for me? This story shows me the power of the divine, that nothing can obstruct its beauty and its magnificence. Nothing can hold it back. And what it shows to me also is the idea that each one of us has this divine light within ourselves. And then it's up to each one of us to break it open, to allow it to shine forth. Because we are a magnificent, powerful creature. So this idea of renewal and transformation, as I kind of wrote some notes this morning, I thought, you know, what is it? Our dear friend Jack Geyer, how many of you remember Jack? He's looking down on me as I speak.
No.
Should I try this? Don't say he's a loudmouth anyway, and therefore he doesn't need it. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Anyway, our dear friend Jack Geyer would say, well, Angelo, renewal and transformation, they're just words. And maybe they are just words. I don't know. How many of you remember him saying that?
Yeah.
Tuesday nights, I mean. Anyway, they are just words, but there's something else too. When we start looking at this idea, and I'm going to go out of the box a little bit on this, transformation or renewal is something other than just words. And it's the idea of the universal power of the flow of the divine, the life force of God itself, that enables us to share its magnificence and show its magnificence in the world of form. That's what a renewal and transformation is. It's kind of a spiritual tool. It's a flow of divine energy and force that allows us to break open and to allow the universe to shine. How's that? Did we do good on that one? We need to look at also another issue that really comes to mind as we do this. That as we embrace this idea of that we have this power and this presence within ourselves to break open and to allow the glory to shine. The idea of perception came to mind this morning, which is kind of amazing because once we get the idea of perception is a very powerful idea, and what it is actually, it's to correct and this transformation is to correct any false perceptions we have. For example, this whole idea of the magnificence of being there, expressing itself through nature, when we accept the fact that when we're confronted with any of the, the Marie used to call it the pebbles on the beach in life, where we tend to give power to through our idea of perception that for some reason we are lower than we are, that we aren't the magnificent force that we really are. When we do that, what happens is that we have what we call a false perception that the world of form has power over us. And just as that little leaf comes through and shines forth the magnificence of being itself, we have that same power. But what happens is that we have this false perception. And once we get the idea that perception is our power and our presence, a man named Marcus Bach told us in his book, The Power of Perception, that we have this tremendous power that's available to us, that what we think and what we imagine and what we perceive, how we perceive it, actually radiates in our life, and perception becomes what? An intention, and the intention then becomes manifestation. So the whole idea of this using nature and watching nature, how it can go and outshine the appearance of the fall and the winter, and to create from that magnificence, which is to create this beauty that we see in the springtime itself. Nature for us teaches us that we don't have to be embodied by the world of form, that the world of form does not have demand over us or does not have control over us. And we can look at nature and see that actually it gives us the idea and the metaphor that we need. There's a story that I like to relate to, has to do, and it came from Eric Butterfield. How many of you know about Eric Butterfield? He had a book and talking about all of the power of life itself, and he told a story within this book about a guy named Sam. Sam's sitting there, and he's letting the experience of the world of form get to him. He worked for this one company for over 20 years, and he was suddenly laid off. They told him he was no longer needed. Well, now talking about perception, we can look at something and say, my God, this is going to destroy me. When he does that, what happens? We immediately put into what I call the force of intention, the energy field of intention, and we create then in our life that which we put out there. So perception is very powerful. Well, he had this perception that I'm no longer needed, I'm no longer valued, and therefore I might as well let it all go. And he was thinking about suicide. His marriage was in shambles. Because as we create in our life experiences that which we put into it, the energy field will respond and provide for us the experiences that we put out into the energy field itself. So he was sitting there at his desk, contemplating killing himself. His marriage was in shambles. Nobody wanted him anymore. He was 60 years old, and therefore, who would ever hire a 60-year-old? You see how we create our own experiences, and he was creating it, and so it came down on him, and he literally imploded. Then all of a sudden something happened, because we can learn from whatever happens in nature itself. This little spider was on his desk, and was crawling along on his desk, walking along his desk, and he unconsciously brushed it off the desk. And he saw it go off the edge of the desk, and then spin this thread, and it was kind of going back and forth, and it was handling that, and then all of a sudden it got to the floor and it ran off. And he got to thinking, my God, if that little creature can be in the flow of the universal, If that little creature can handle a crisis, if you're that small and some huge guy hits you, that's a crisis, isn't it? And it says, if that little being can actually deal with the crisis, be in the flow of the universal, then why can't I? Isn't that neat? So we can look at nature and get inspiration from it. So what he did, he changed his perception. He changed how he was looking at life itself. That, life is okay, it goes on, and that I'm going to be okay. And the minute he changed his perception, what happened to him? He created another job request. He got a job, and he got a job that paid better than what he had put out there. Isn't that good? Let's clap for this guy. Marcus Bloch, the author of this Power of Perception book, states that within perception, it is the secret that actually can unlock the riches that we have within ourselves. And that for some of us, we need to be able to take the common, to accept the common, because and I'll explain what he means by this. We need to accept the common, which is the what is, accept the common and embrace it, because within the common is the hidden secret of the next step, the uncommon. I don't know if that makes sense, but as I analyzed this, I thought, my gosh, that's true. In other words, whatever's happening to us, I don't care what it is, we embrace it as our greater good, because within what's happening to us actually is our greater good that expresses itself down the road. Does that make any sense? And he calls that the common. And the common, within the common is hidden the uncommon. So what this says to me and to the world itself, and the people who read this book, is that